All right, I have one group completely. Another two people said they wanted to be in the same group. If you guys get a third one, let me know. Rest of you, the groups are going to be three. If we still stay at 13, I'm going to make one of the groups a four. All right. Let's, today I'm going to literally take attendance. All right, Jafar, since I don't have a picture of you, I put something over there. So if you don't want that picture to be your picture, send me something. That's from the Disney character Jafar, and proper way to pronounce it, Jafar. Okay, that's Tanner, Bryce, Ethan. I don't know. At least I got you, Harry Ian Cusick. Brady's here, Maddie here, Christopher Jones here, Corliss, Lily's here, uh, Brian, Jacob, Top Scott, and Victoria. All right. In case, I mean, you still have time, but let me see how many people actually have done it. Oops. You decided to be in their group? Come on, what the hell happened to this? I thought apparently not. Oh, because idiot me, I'm in the wrong place. That thing is gonna be in the attendance file. I put it somewhere out of reach so that I could not accidentally do anything about it. So all I have to do is refresh. Come on. You guys haven't done it? You guys haven't done the self, for some reason it's not pulling it. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. Because when I tried it at home, it did pull. We'll worry about that later. Let's go home. I'm going to create something called an abacus. Okay. It's just essentially a blank sheet with some bells and whistles. Today and next week, I basically want to give you guys some somewhat rudimentary Excel and VBA skills so that you don't I'm not going to ask you to program anything for course requirement, but I'm going to use a lot of those things so that you'll be familiar. First things first, if you're going to do any kind of VBA programming, you have to save your worksheet as a macro enabled worksheet. This one already is, but the way you would do it, File, Save As, and normally you would have just Excel workbook, but do it Excel macro enabled workbook, save. Obviously this one already exists. Igemri to the Wales. And you also have to have the developer tab turned on. You need to do this only once. I mean, if you're using these computers, unfortunately, you have to do it every time you use them. But I'm assuming everybody's using their own laptop. Uh, on any tab, open it, right click, customize the ribbon. Right here, you're going to find the developer tab. Make sure it is checked. Okay. I mean, yours would be unchecked if you have not done this before. Just make it checked, hit OK. You should have a developer tab appear there. It may not be in the same place as mine because you can also change their order. I mean, let's say I want to make developers at the beginning. I'm going to take this and move it up. Okay. Now my developer tab is here. Okay. If you click on it, you're going to see a lot of things. Visual Basic, macros, record macro, and all sorts of other stuff. Let's start with something simple. Okay, let's go to Visual Basic on the Developer tab. And something like that is gonna open up. I mean, I already have some code pages, but I'm gonna start with something new. So I'm gonna insert a module. A module is simply a white space where you write your code. Nothing complicated about that. If you're doing more complicated programming, there is something called class module that's different, where you actually define custom data types that has properties, functions, and all sorts of other stuff. I'm not going to do that in this class. Yours probably is not going to say option explicit. I always make that as the default because when I write code, I want to make define data types of local variables exactly. So let's start with a simple function. Oh, you can do two things in VBA. You can have functions. These are, as the name suggests, functions. You have inputs. Based on that inputs, you're going to provide code that calculates an output. Okay? Y equals f of x1, x2, whatever. Or you can do subs. A sub is a piece of code that does something in Excel. It could also return a value, but it's a little bit more advanced. But it doesn't return anything to Excel itself. Okay. So let's start with a function. I'm going to actually start a relatively complicated function. You know, we have, or you may know that we have functions that calculates present value of a future set of cash flows. Okay. So I'm going to, let's kind of get something started here. Time, cash, and I'm going to put a place here, interest rate. I don't like column headers. Oh, by the way, there's something called here quick access bar in Excel. Have you guys ever used it? If there are things that you use frequently, you can put them in there. For example, I like hiding or showing formula bar or column headings, so I put them in there. For example, I use this define formula, define name thing a lot, so I put it in there. I mean, suppose you want to put paste values in there. Okay, more commands, and I'm gonna do all commands. Just type paste, find the command that you want. Should be here, but oh, let's do something else. Let's say copy, add. Okay. Now, if I want to copy this, obviously I can do right click copy and stuff, but or right here is the copy, copy. Anything you want to have quick access. Sometimes you're going to have what we call macros. You can also put those in there. But in this case, let's put 6%. I like some digits on my percents. In case you didn't know, if you format a cell as the percent, next time you enter a number over there, you don't have to write the decimal form. 6% is 0.06. Suppose I'm going to make this 6.25, just 6.25. The only thing you need to be careful about, if the leading digit is 0, you have to write that 0 explicitly. If you write 0.25%, it's going to interpret that as 25%. Okay. And I also want, let's put it here, frequency of compounding. It would help if I could actually spell. And for now, I'm going to put 12. Okay.